Hey guys, welcome to another episode at your home. This is your host Mina Suchoi, and this is episode 4. Okay, bye. He's biting me. Happy New Year, everyone. This is your host Mina Suchoi, and you are currently listening to At Your Home, and this is episode 4. And the title of episode 4 will be about self care. Since it's New Year's, I thought it was necessary to talk about self care. I couldn't really think of a specific topic, so I decided, you know what, let's just talk about all areas of self care. Um, because as I was writing down my New Year's resolution here, I think most of the things I actually wrote down had to do about self care. I had things like better eating habit, journaling more, etc. Yada yada yada. I thought might as well instead of sharing my New Year's resolution, I thought maybe sharing a self care that I already do for myself. This could be like physically or mentally, but today I wanted to focus on about journaling, and of course, then that means that we couldn't miss our journal. I don't know if any of you guys have seen me. I'm not sure if I pulled this out maybe in my previous videos, but this is my lucky journal. I have a name for it. And this is my second journal. I have this routine for all my journals. All of them are green because I like the color green. Feel like it brings me a lot of luck. So, on top of that, they're called the Lucky Journal. So I kind of wanted to share with you guys why I journal and how I journal. I feel like everyone that journals has a different way of doing it, and this is just my way that I wanted to share with you guys. So, hope that helps with your self care. I started journaling because I was struggling mentally, and I thought, instead of talking to people, as much as it has been helpful for me to actually share my feelings and everything that's going on with people, and I actually love doing that, but at the same time, I realized that the consequence of doing that sometimes leads to too many people knowing about my personal situation and me accidentally oversharing information that I probably shouldn't be sharing too much with people that I'm not too close to, but I have a bad habit of doing that. So, knowing that about myself, I felt like, okay, what I need is a space or a person to talk to tell people, to tell someone or something that I'm going through these emotions and everything. And we're all people after all. So there's, I feel like, a level of boundaries to how much we can share to them. And, your deepest, darkest secret, I don't feel like you can share that. Like, you know, because that there can be some triggering words or triggering thoughts that you might be careful about sharing to the other person. And I personally feel like I have a lot of those that I didn't want to share with my close friends because I don't want to trigger any negativity to my friends. So for me, the best means of kind of projecting all my emotions or my negativity, all my toxic thoughts that can be forgiven was this journal, which is why I started journaling. Was the best self care I could ever think of at the moment. So that's why I started journaling. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of you guys journal for that purpose. But I have a rule for a lot of my journals. I don't know why, but rules make things special sometimes. So I like it. It's like a ritual and a tradition. And I like to just keep it that way. So I think I mentioned earlier, but all my journals are green. Um, and I don't know, I feel like it just brings me a lot of luck. Just a feel good color to me. So yeah, green. For all my journals, I always have an opening page where I write down the rules I have for my journals. So I wanted to share some of the rules that I have for my journals. Yeah, it says Mina's second lucky journal, possibly a new chapter once again. So I do want to share with you guys for this particular section. I actually write this for all my journals. This is only my second journal, so for the other one, it's the same, but I added on more for my second journal. It always begins by saying, "Hello, new journal." Okay, so number one rule I have: may every word written here bless you with knowledge and delightful surprises that will guide you through your, once again, loving journey. I like to describe life as like a journey, like many people do. Number two, use knowledge, what you know, what you understand, as a means to serve yourself and one another. Interesting. Number three, do not be afraid to express with words just because you don't think you sound smart. I've always in the past been kind of afraid and a bit insecure about sounding smart or not sounding smart. And especially after my Q&A video went viral for Miss Earth, I was even more pressured to say sound smart in a lot of public platforms we're talking. But I wanted to remind myself to not be afraid of just expressing because that's how you feel and that's how you think. Then expressing that should be forgiven, at least in these journals. Then, rule number four, do not worry about the quality or depth of your writing, just write. Oh, so this kind of reminds me. Another reason why I started journaling was also because I really wanted to practice writing. At the time when I started journaling, I was also reading a lot. And I had this habit of always writing down quotes or phrases that I like because I like incorporating that for my own writing. That was the time when I was doing a lot of like speeches or public speaking for Miss Earth. So I wanted to get a lot of practice of how to use words, how to use language. So I think that's also one of the reasons why I started journaling. And this also has to do with the other rule I have. It's kind of similar to not being afraid to make mistakes, not be afraid of not being good at something from the get go. So, next, these two rules I feel like are a little bit repetitive, so I'm going to read it at the same time. The moment you open these pages, the world becomes kind and understanding. No dark, no good thoughts exist beyond here. The next one, I feel like it's just another paraphrase. All words are forgiven and free from shame from here on. I really like the last two rules that I wrote down for myself because it reminds me that I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be ashamed of feeling having these like intrusive thoughts or negative thoughts about someone or about a situation because all humans are by nature we have our own versions of negativity, and I felt like denying that was sort of pressuring me more to constantly be a good person. But it kind of reminded me that you don't need to be perfect in these pages. So it sort of created this safe space, this safe haven for me in a way. So I really like that saying. Yeah. In these journals, I usually have a lot of intrusive thoughts and negativity and even like some cuss words as well. So I wouldn't really want anybody in this world to read this. And it's sort of my Pandora box. And I don't think you should ever open anybody's Pandora box. I don't think there's any good in that. Yeah, if something happens to me, my only request is to burn this. And if they decide to release it, I'm not that ashamed of it either. If anything, I wouldn't really mind people knowing that I have these thoughts either because, again, this has been my way of channeling my emotions so that to people or when I'm actually meeting real life people, so that I don't need to project my negativity on people. So, yeah, shame on you if you ever secretly read my journal because I have nothing good to say about you here. I'm sure I do, but not in this journal. Yeah, this is like my emotional dumpster. So that's a reminder. And also, I wrote down here, do not revisit to change, only read. The past is for you to only observe and learn, not change. You can't go back in the past to change anything. And yeah, this is a reminder of it. Do I revisit my journal? Not really. It makes me cringe. I once. No. Talking about revisiting, I think I wrote that rule because when I was in middle school, there was a diary that I wrote that I found in one of the shelves, and I saw that I ripped. I I saw a diary that I wrote in middle school, and then I read it as a high schooler, and I just ripped it and I threw it away. And now that I think about it, that's such a big regret that I have because the past makes up who you are today, bad or good. Bad or good history, they all make up who you are today. And I think accepting those moments is for me another way of really accepting who I am right now. So I think knowing the mistakes you've had in the past or knowing, the cringe moments in the past, just acknowledging it and just being grateful that, okay, through that, it made me who I am today, maybe in a bad way sometimes, but mostly probably in a good way. Those are the rules I have for my journals. And yeah, this has been one of the healthiest way for me to kind of just record my life. I use it as a diary or as just like a notebook or like a emotional dumpster. So this is kind of my best friend when I don't actually have my best friend around me because they're usually always back in the States. But I'm going back. Oh, another public announcement that I'm going to make. I am going back to school. Yes, I'm going back to school to finally graduate. I'm going to be a very old undergrad. I know. I was thinking of maybe like sometimes postponing my studies, but I thought this was a pretty good time to go back. I needed this breath of fresh air. I was sensing that I needed some changes in life. So I wanted to complete my undergrad once and for all before I get too old because right now I'm still in that age range where I want to go back to school, go back to campus, and kind of be that college student again. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried about going back to school. I haven't been back on campus since 2020, maybe. Oh yeah, I haven't been back to school since 2020, so I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah, real nervous about going back to school. Yeah, 2020. So it's been 5 years, and yeah, I'm like super excited to be the super old one in school. Oh, everyone's gonna be like everyone's gonna be 17 to 21, and I'm gonna be that one 25-year-old undergrad. Yeah, I'm so excited to get back to school. Yeah, I'm going in May, and then finishing summer classes, then fall semester, and then I graduate after that. Then I haven't decided what I'm gonna do after that. Probably come back to Korea, maybe go somewhere else to study more, maybe get a job. I don't know, who knows? But you guys know that you guys are gonna be part of the journey and keep you guys posted about what I'm doing. Yeah, all my podcasts and all my content, it's probably gonna be as a college student, Mina. So I'm really excited about that. So that kind of ends the podcast. Yeah. I know I haven't been on my podcast for a while. For those who do follow my Instagram, I'm sure some of you guys know that last year on Christmas, my grandma actually passed away. So I've been sort of not in the right headspace to be completely doing a podcast or sharing too much on social media. But I am back now and I will try my best to stay active once again. And thank you for being patient with me. And Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, this is going to be a good year. According to my feng shui, 2025 is my year. So I'm really excited to thrive this year. Even if it's not true, I'm going to convince myself and I'm manifesting it. I'm going to tell myself every single day that 2025 just is going to be good for me. Yeah. Happy New Year. 새해 복 많이 받으시고 신년快乐 wherever you are. Yeah. So that ends this podcast. As usual, we may have deviated from the topic of self care, but you know what? It's more fun that way. We like pleasant surprises. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast as well, episode 4. And this was your host, Mina Suchoi. Bye bye.